Welcome to Power Talk, our new time frame, 7 o'clock Eastern in the evening. Appreciate you guys being so flexible to move with me. So happy Monday. And we've got a really good show on tap tonight. I'm going to introduce a good friend of mine. Her name is Judy Micale. She is a certified professional coach. She's an author, and she is going to speak to us tonight about caregiving. She has a book about caregiving and supporting the caregiver. She's actually written several books, but that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So welcome, Judy.
Thank you. Thank you, Jean. It's great to be here.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time out this evening to join us. And, your information on caregiving comes from your own life experience, doesn't it?
Yes, it really does. I have been taking care of my mom now for, 7 years she's been living with me. And so it's been an adventure, and it's been wonderful, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, but you know what? And I get that completely. But so many of us, especially as we get to be I'm quite a bit older than you are, but as we get to be of a certain age and our parents get to be of a certain age as well, we end up getting to take care of them. I wasn't lucky enough to do that because my parents both died quite suddenly, and that was that. Or there are many people out there who are listening to the show who are taking care of a spouse who has a disease, or a brother or a sister who has a problem. And what happens, I think, more often than not, is that the caregiver expends all of their energy taking care of the person that they love, and they don't take care of themselves, right?
That's right. And one of the first things that I did, actually, as Mom was undergoing surgery, I started writing affirmations to myself every day. And what turned out to be a book to myself. It was really an interesting thought process for me, but it was more for me to remember to tune in and to really be aware of my own self-care. And that was my big thing. Let me be aware of what I'm doing, because it's that old saying with the oxygen mask. If we don't put our oxygen mask on first, we can't take care of anybody else. So that was one of my things, because writing and journaling is my release. So I just started writing daily affirmations to myself. So what I ended up doing was actually writing a book from those affirmations, 31 Daily Inspirations for Caregivers. And underneath, the subtitle was One Day, One Breath, One Step at a Time. Because that's truly what it is. If we try to project and say, okay, I'm going to take care of this in the next week, that just gets blown out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
So remembering to do it one day, one step, and one breath. Because when we're under crisis, the first thing we do as human beings is hold our breath.
Yeah.
So I always ask people that are caregivers to make sure to take that deep breath and just release. And I always say 4 deep breaths, because the first 3 are really just getting your body and your muscles relaxed. That 4th deep breath that you do really centers you. It really brings you in, and you can say, okay, now I can relax. We could tell ourselves we're relaxing after that first breath, but in reality, we're not.
No, I get that. And I think, in just your coaching business, because I know that I get this when I'm working with my coaching clients, is I can tell when they're holding their breath. And anytime we get to something stressful, you can tell that they just shut. And I have to say, okay, breathe.
Yeah. And that's, that's a biggie. And when I was writing, I'm just going to give you a sample of what I wrote in the book that I think it's really important. This is on day 8. So this was something that I wrote probably the 8th day after my mom's surgery, was loving life even with the occasional hiccups that happen. Wouldn't life be boring if everything went smoothly? The challenge today is to roll with the hiccups and see what fabulous things come from them. Instead of holding your breath and trying to get rid of them, breathe. Allow yourself to just be present in this moment. For your journal entry today, reflect on what it means to be in the moment and how even when we experience hiccups, we can remain in the moment. What does this mean for you? Take a few moments and record your thoughts on this. So the book is designed in a way where I do the inspiration and then I give a journal assignment and I leave journal pages in the book so that whoever is working on it, they can actually just write it right there. If they're taking care of a loved one and they need to take notes for the doctor, they can do it right in the book. That's the beauty of this book. It's a journal, it's a book, it's everything rolled into one. It's whatever you need it to be for you as a caregiver.
That's beautiful. And, you also do a blog.
Yes.
And so if people want to actually tune into your current blogs, how will they find your blogs?
The blog is on my website, theauthenticitycoach.com. And I really do a lot of different things with that. Some of it is coach related. Some of it is poetry that's been coming out of me lately that I don't know where it's coming from, higher source. But it's just different things. Sometimes it's just reminders of challenges that I'm going to be providing for people. I did a 7-day challenge at the beginning of this year for individuals on change. And it was such a success that I decided the whole month of February, which is the month when we usually fall off, I'm going to do a whole month of change and talking about the stages of change. And they apply to caregiving just as much as they do to everything else in our life. Because we truly are undergoing change as a caregiver. So understanding what the stages of change are and how they work and the feelings and emotions that come up with it and how to overcome them, building in rewards for ourselves as caregivers. Things along those lines are going to be built into the challenge. So that's also going to be on the website. So again, the website's theauthenticitycoach.com. I would love people to join the email listserv, come on that way. But truly, I have a Facebook page for the book, and I at least 3 times a week post in there just reminders and hints. Like tonight, I just posted a great article on Rob Lowe. I never knew that he was a caregiver for his mom who was suffering from cancer. While he was doing his acting and everything else, he was still a caregiver for his mom during that process. Wow. And it's a beautiful blog about his experience as a caregiver. So I do things like that. I also post in resources that are available through different agencies. There's a lot of different agencies out there for caregivers. So I try to supply as much information as I possibly can for caregivers. I think it's so crucial that we support one another.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you're not a caregiver, it's still very important to tap into that balance giving receiving thing. Because I think that's the gotcha for caregivers is that they tend to get out of balance because they're giving all the time. And they don't allow themselves to receive the level of care that they need, and they become depleted. And then they're no good to the person that they're taking care of if there's nothing there for them to give from.
Yeah, and remembering to build in small, I call them rewards for yourself, or even breaking your habits, because we get so structured when we're caring for somebody. So it could be as simple as, instead of putting your pants on the left leg, putting it on the right leg, making yourself be present, making yourself be aware. And building in small rewards. It could be as simple as taking a walk around the block while the person's resting, because they're resting, they're okay. You can get up and you can take a walk. It could be playing with your puppy. That's my joy. I have 2 dogs. One of them stays with mom most of the time. The other one's with me. And so it's just whatever you can find to help yourself. Remember to take care of yourself. Yeah. It's not being a You're not being a victim then. You're not being that, oh, look at everything that I do to take care of that person. No, that's not what this is about. This is about finding yourself while you're doing this and being witness to their journey, not being a part of their journey.
Right.
There's
I think, that's a big trap that many caregivers get into as well is, they start off doing this out of love, and it's a gift of love for somebody that they truly love. And then if they don't take care of themselves, then resentment can creep into that equation, and then that's not pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I always say it's important to build in those rewards, whether it's, for me, it's a pedicure. Every month I get a pedicure. Mom gets her hair done at this one salon that just happens to have a nail salon right there. So I get a pedicure when she's getting a haircut, or I get a pedicure when she's getting a perm. When it's just a wash and set, I might just get a manicure because that can be done real quick. Right. But it's something that I can build in as well. So it's not, it's not just wasted time. It's time that I can journal. I can do something for myself during her appointment. It's remembering to allow yourself to still be a person and not just be it's really, important for us as caregivers, no matter the circumstance, whether you're caring for somebody with a terminal illness or whether you're caring for somebody that's an elder parent, or even if you're caring for somebody that has a physical or a mental challenge. It's always important to have your own life as well. And that isn't being selfish. That is truly being self-care. That's why I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and you have not only the caregiving job, but you also have a full-time coaching job. And you're very good at that. Because I've had some coaching with Judy, and so I know from personal experience that she really is able to she got me outside of my own box of all that I could see into being able to expand that field of possibilities more. And maybe it's because you're such a good listener, Judy. I don't know. You really have a great way of zeroing in on exactly what needs to be worked on at the particular time that the coaching session is.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's probably from all the years. I transitioned into coaching after counseling for almost 30 years. So it was a natural transition for me. Even though I'm only 55, I started working as a counselor when I was 20. Yeah. So it was a natural transition to go into coaching 8 years ago. And I was still doing my other job as a trainer. So you always had to listen in those fields. And as a coach, I love it because I get to work with people who are truly, truly motivated. You did all the work. I just listened and asked questions, and that's all it is. And that's the beauty of what coaching is. When it's right, it's right.
Well, yeah, and it's about empowering the individual, and I really appreciate that but you were able to point me in the right direction so that I could keep going, and go beyond the obstacles that I had created for myself.
Yeah. I think that's the intuitive piece that coaching has, or for me personally, that's the intuitive piece that I've been working on and striving, really doing a lot of work on that for the past almost 3 years now, 2 to 3 years. And I think that's the big part there is listening to that gut instinct of what you're saying, because your energy, it's all about the energy and the voice. And if your energy's dragging when you're saying, well, I really need to do, then I'm going to say, well, do you really want to do that? Is that a direction you're really, really going to go? Yeah. There's a lot of energy there.
And so, the book about caregiving is not your only book. Tell me about the other things you've written.
Oh, yeah. I was a contributing author in 2 other books. One is The Journey to the Stage, and it's about my speaking career that I've had for many years. And I actually chose to use a summary, an essay about my very first speaking engagement, because people at work don't really consider that when you're addressing a board, that's a speaking engagement. Mm-hmm. And that's what I pointed out was it was one of the very first things I had to do was to convince a board that my job was important. And I had to present this conversation talk to these individuals about why my career was so important for that agency. I literally convinced a board to hire me when they didn't think they needed that position. So that's one of the books. And then I also contributed in another book as well. So there's a couple of them out there with my name on it.
Very good. And that's actually how I met Judy, was she was actually the main speaker at an event that I went to. And I was so impressed with her as a speaker that I knew I wanted to work with her further. So, yeah, that's really good. That's really good. Yeah. So can you share just a couple of more tips for our caregivers who are listening tonight that might just help somebody climb down off a ledge and, move back into a place of love and not a place of frustration?
Okay. I'm actually going to go from day 27 in the book. And It says, I love the fact that each day is a new beginning. The greatest gift that we can give ourselves is permission to begin each day as a new one. We choose not to carry over the stuff from the day before. Today is fresh. When we start our days like this, it lightens the load. So for the journal, you're going to begin journaling your day about how you want your day to go. And then as the day progresses, you're going to reflect back on your journal entry. Watch how your day unfolds. We can choose to have a day that is filled with light and love. Remember to share this with somebody else.
So that example there is perfect for anybody, not just a caregiver. I mean, I need that kind of reminder every day to create my day in the way that I want it to go rather than allow the bus to drive me.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of our lives. I mean, we can choose to be happy. Mm-hmm. We can choose to have the Alexander terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. We can choose how we really want our day, and we can reboot. That's the number one rule as a caregiver and as a person who just lives every single day. If our day starts off and it's not going the way we planned, it's just like the hiccups that we were having at the beginning of the show with my computer. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's also more than one way to reboot. You can shut it off and start over. Mm-hmm. You can find your other piece of equipment that might work a little bit better. You just have to remember that you're the one that can control that.
Yeah.
So just reboot.
Yeah. Because the truth is, no matter how much we want to believe that there really is a job description called victim, there's not.
Right.
There is no such thing. It's what we choose to fall into that really makes the difference there. So, Judy, please tell the audience how they can find you, how they can avail themselves of your service, and where they can get your book.
My book is available on Amazon. And so all you have to
closer to the camera again so they can see it better.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be backwards.
Okay, so, that's all right.
Yeah. But the book is on Amazon, and all you really have to do is Google my name on Judy Micale on Amazon, and the last name is spelled Micale. So look for Judy Micale on Amazon, and you'll find the book. And to find me online, go to theauthenticitycoach.com or connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm on all of those formats. So those are the areas that can reach out to me. Great. I would love to connect with people.
Fantastic. Judy, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing your wisdom with all the Power Talk listeners that join us each and every week. I really appreciate it. And next week, we're going to be talking about the opioid crisis. I've got an author who's written a book about the rise in the use of opioids and what we can do about that and how we can shift that and maybe begin to turn it around. And viewers, I also want to remind each and every one of you that you can go to my website. And if you would like, I give away a 15-minute free consultation. You can take advantage of that offer one time, and I'll work with you to help you clear away a block that's holding you back in any or all areas of your life. And also, if you sign up for my newsletter on GeneAdrienne.com, you get a link to a free subscription to the online version of my Inner Speak card so that you can do clearings on yourself, on your computer, or on your phone. So until next week, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. I love each and every one of you guys. Ciao.